For 2,000 years, the cross has been, the central symbol of Christianity. But what does it really mean? Have you ever stopped to think about it? Is it the story of a divine execution where God had to punish his own son to make things right? Or could it be something totally different? What if it's a powerful revelation, one that wasn't meant to change God's mind about us, but to completely change our minds about him?
So let's just dive right in with a really provocative question. What if God didn't kill Jesus? I mean, that one idea, it pushes back against a lot of what we've been taught. What if the whole idea of God needing some kind of blood payment is, well, a huge misunderstanding? As one writer, J.D. Myers, puts it, God did not kill Jesus, we did. And if you really sit with that, if you explore that idea, it changes everything.
So, to really get to the bottom of the cross, we have to start by redefining the problem. Before you can understand the cure, you've got to get the diagnosis right. And that means we have to rethink what sin actually is.
And right away, this definition just flips the whole script. See, in this view, sin isn't just a list of rules you broke that made God mad. No, it's a condition. It's the act of cutting yourself off from the only source of life there is. Think about it like this. It's like unplugging a lamp from the only power outlet in the universe. The darkness isn't a punishment. It's just what happens when you're disconnected. The act is, by its very nature, self-destructive. So this completely changes how we look at death, right? On one hand, you have death as an execution, where God has to step in and actively end a life as a penalty. But on the other hand, you have death as a natural consequence. It's not God acting like some cosmic executioner. As Ellen White puts it, God basically leaves the rejectors of his mercy to themselves, to reap that which they have sown. I mean, if life only comes from God, then being separated from God can only lead to one thing: death. It's inevitable. It's a natural result, not an imposed sentence.
I love this quote from Graham Maxwell because it just makes so much sense. He's saying God's law isn't like our traffic laws, where if you speed, you get a ticket, you get punished. No, it's more like the law of gravity. If you step off a cliff, gravity doesn't punish you, you just experience the built-in natural consequences of that choice. In that sense, God's law is just a description of how reality is designed to work for our good.
Okay, so if the cross wasn't about God carrying out a legal sentence, then what in the world was it for? Well, according to this view, the purpose was way, way bigger than just us. This wasn't just a drama playing out on planet Earth. This was a demonstration for the entire cosmos.
So the stakes here are absolutely cosmic. The idea is that for ages there's been this massive universe-wide debate going on about what God is really like. Is he truly loving and trustworthy, or is he some kind of tyrant who rules by force and fear? The cross, then, is presented as the final, ultimate, irrefutable piece of evidence in that cosmic trial. It was God putting his own character on display for all to see.
And on that cosmic stage, all the masks finally came off. First, it unmasked the true nature of sin. The thinker René Girard pointed out how human societies often create peace by ganging up on a victim, a scapegoat. The cross exposes that whole system for the murderous lie that it is. But at the exact same moment, it revealed God's true character, not as a violent, demanding judge, but as a God who is completely nonviolent, who is self-sacrificing, and who, as Jürgen Moltmann puts it, actually enters into our suffering with us.
This is it. This is the climax of the whole demonstration. We, humanity, we took our absolute worst, our violence, our religion, our injustice, our fear, and we poured it all out on God in the flesh. And what did we get back? Not revenge, not overwhelming power, just forgiveness. It's the ultimate contrast, right? It proves that God's way of being and our way of being run on completely opposite software.
All right, so the cross is this massive universal revelation of character. That's a huge idea. But how does that grand cosmic event actually save you and me? How does it get personal? How does it heal us? Let's break down the cure.
And right here, this is the key to the whole thing. The healing isn't a legal transaction. It's a relational transformation. The principle is actually really simple. We become like what we focus on, what we worship. If you believe in a God of violence and payback, well, that's what you'll end up reflecting in your own life. But if you can truly see, if you can behold the self-giving, enemy-loving God revealed at the cross, it can't help but change you from the inside out. So the process is actually profoundly psychological. First, you see the truth of what God is really like, this nonviolent, suffering love. That truth then directly attacks the lie that makes us afraid of him. Because let's be honest, as F.T. Wright says, you cannot love someone you're afraid of. It's impossible. So by destroying that fear, the cross makes trust possible again. Our hostility, our enmity, it just dissolves. The relationship is healed.
And this brings us full circle, right back to where we started. The problem was never a legal debt in some heavenly ledger. The problem was a damaged mind, a broken relationship that was built on fear and lies about God. So the solution couldn't be a legal one. It had to be a therapeutic one. The cross is God's therapy for humanity, healing our sick ideas about Him, and, in the process, restoring us to sanity.
So when you start to see the cross as a revelation instead of an execution, wow, the implications are just massive. It doesn't just change your ideas about God or about what happens when you die. It's meant to change how we see everything, how we treat our enemies, what we think justice looks like, how we live our lives right here, right now. It reframes salvation from just being a ticket to the afterlife into a total transformation of our present reality. And that, well, that changes everything.